She told me she'd been sleeping with my friends and smiled while she said it. I smiled back. 3 weeks later, an ER doctor told them all the truth I'd been planning. I'm 34 years old, and I used to believe that love meant trusting people completely. That marriage was a safe harbor. That your closest friends were the people who'd have your back, no matter what. I was wrong about all of it. My name is Caroline, and this is the story of how I discovered my husband was cheating on me with my two best friends, and how I made sure they all understood exactly what they'd done. I need to start at the beginning because the ending only makes sense if you understand who I was before all of this happened. Who I thought I was, anyway. I met Daniel when I was 26. I was working as a pharmaceutical sales rep. He was a financial advisor, and we met at a networking event that neither of us wanted to attend. We bonded over our mutual hatred of forced small talk and warm white wine, and by the end of the night, we'd exchanged numbers. Our courtship was practical, efficient. We were both career-focused, both financially stable, both looking for a partner who understood that love didn't have to be dramatic to be real. We dated for 2 years, got engaged, had a small wedding with 50 guests, bought a house in the suburbs. We were the couple other people envied. Stable. Successful. No drama. I had two best friends, Lauren and Sophie. I'd known Lauren since college. We'd been roommates freshman year and stayed close ever since. Sophie I'd met through work 5 years ago, and we'd clicked immediately. The three of us were inseparable. Girls' nights every Thursday. Group chat that never stopped. Vacations together. They were my bridesmaids. My chosen sisters. Daniel got along with them great. He'd joke around with Lauren about her terrible taste in men. He'd help Sophie move furniture when she redecorated her apartment. The four of us would have dinner parties, game nights, lazy Sunday brunches. It was perfect. My life was perfect. And then, 3 months ago, I came home early from a business trip. I wasn't supposed to be home until Thursday, but my Wednesday afternoon meeting got canceled, and I managed to catch an earlier flight. I texted Daniel to let him know, but he didn't respond. Not unusual, he was probably in meetings. I got home around 3 p.m. His car was in the driveway. So was Lauren's. I felt a small flutter of happiness. Maybe they were planning a surprise for me. Maybe Lauren had come over to help Daniel with something. I unlocked the front door quietly, planning to surprise them. I heard Lauren's laugh from upstairs, from our bedroom, and I heard Daniel's voice, low and intimate, saying something I couldn't make out. I stood in my own entryway, frozen, as my brain tried to process what was happening. Then I heard it. Unmistakable. The sounds of two people having sex. I should have screamed. Should have run upstairs and confronted them. Should have done something explosive and dramatic. Instead, I set down my suitcase very carefully. I took off my shoes so they wouldn't hear me walking. And I went into the kitchen and sat at the table. I sat there for 45 minutes listening to my husband fuck my best friend in our bed, and I felt something inside me go very, very quiet. Eventually, I heard them come downstairs. Heard Lauren's voice, cheerful and casual. Same time Friday? Sophie said she's free too. My brain caught on that. Sophie said she's free too. Sophie. My other best friend. Daniel laughed. Yeah, I'll text her. Thanks for this, Laure. You're amazing. Anytime, she said. I heard them kiss, a casual goodbye kiss, comfortable and familiar. Tell Caro I said hi when she gets back tomorrow. The front door closed. I heard Daniel's footsteps heading toward the kitchen. He walked in and saw me sitting at the table. The color drained from his face. Caroline, I didn't hear you come in. I thought you weren't home until tomorrow, I finished. I know. Meeting got canceled. He stared at me, calculating, trying to figure out how much I knew. I looked at him very calmly. How long? How long what? How long have you been fucking Laura? He actually had the audacity to try to deny it. I don't know what you. I've been sitting here for 45 minutes, I said, my voice perfectly level. I heard everything. So let's skip the part where you lie to me, and let's get to the part where you tell me the truth. He slumped into a chair, ran his hands through his hair. 6 months, he finally said. 6 months. Half a year. While I'd been working, traveling, coming home to kiss him goodnight, having drinks with Lauren and listening to her complain about her dating life, knowing the whole time she was sleeping with my husband. And Sophie? I asked. His eyes widened. How did you? Lauren said, Sophie said she's free too. So I'll ask again. How long with Sophie? For months. I nodded slowly.
Processing.
4 months with Sophie. 6 months with Lauren. My 2 best friends. The women I'd trusted more than anyone except him. Are you going to leave? He asked. He actually sounded curious, not apologetic. I don't know yet, I said honestly. He leaned back in his chair. And then he smiled. Actually smiled at me. Look, Caro. This doesn't have to be a big deal. So I've been seeing Lauren and Sophie.
So what?
You're always traveling, always busy with work. I have needs. They're fun. It's just physical. I stared at him. Just physical.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean anything. I still love you. I still want to be married to you. This is just recreational. And they know about each other? Of course. We're all adults. We're all on the same page. Except me. He shrugged. I didn't think you'd understand. You're probably right about that. So, what are you going to do? He crossed his arms. Are you going to have a meltdown? Scream and cry? Kick me out? Because honestly, if you can't handle this like an adult, maybe you should leave. I looked at my husband, this man I'd shared a life with for 8 years, and felt that quiet thing inside me crystallize into something cold and sharp and perfectly clear. I'm not going to leave, I said. He looked relieved. Good. I think we can work through this. Maybe we can even talk about opening up the marriage officially. I think you'd be surprised how liberating. I need some time to think, I interrupted. I'm going to go stay at a hotel tonight. I'll be back tomorrow. Okay. He stood up, came over, and actually tried to hug me. I'm glad you're being reasonable about this. I let him hug me. Let him kiss my forehead. Let him think I was going to roll over and accept this. Then I went to a hotel, checked into a room, and I started planning. I didn't sleep that night. I sat at the hotel desk with my laptop, and I thought about everything I knew. I'm a pharmaceutical sales rep. I know drugs.
I know compounds.
I know interactions and side effects and what happens when you mix things that shouldn't be mixed. I also know people. I know my husband. I know Lauren. I know Sophie. And I knew exactly what I needed to do. The next morning I went home. Daniel was surprised to see me so calm. I've thought about it, I told him. And I think we can make this work. Really? He looked genuinely pleased. I'm so glad you're being mature about this. I just have a few conditions, I said. First, I need honesty. Complete honesty. If you're going to see Lauren or Sophie, I need to know when and where.
Sure.
That's fair. Second, I need us to go to therapy. If we're going to make this work, we need professional help. He looked less enthusiastic about that, but nodded. Okay. And third, I need you to be safe. Healthy. I want us all to get tested for STDs. I want everyone to be on the same page about sexual health.
Already done, he said.
We all got tested last month. Everyone's clean. Good, I said. Then I think we can make this work. Over the next 2 weeks, I played the role of the understanding wife. I asked Daniel about his encounters with a clinical curiosity that seemed to please him. He'd tell me when he was seeing Lauren, Thursday afternoon her place, and I'd nod and say okay. I even had coffee with Lauren. She didn't know I knew. She sat across from me at our favorite cafe, complaining about a guy she'd gone on a date with, and I smiled and sympathized and gave her advice. The same with Sophie. Girls' night continued as usual. We drank wine, watched reality TV, talked about work and life and relationships. And the whole time I watched her, studied her, noted every mannerism, every tell. They were good liars. Both of them.
Smooth. Practiced.
But I was better. In those 2 weeks, I did my research. I accessed Daniel's phone while he was sleeping. He'd never changed his passcode, still used our anniversary. I went through every text, every email, every photo. The group chat was called Fun Times. Daniel, Lauren, and Sophie. Hundreds of messages. Planning their hookups. Laughing about me. About how clueless I was. About how easy it was to fool me. Lauren. She just texted me about brunch on Sunday. She has no idea. Face with tears of joy. Sophie. She's so trusting it's actually kind of sad. Daniel. That's what makes this work. She'd never suspect a thing. I screenshot everything. Backed it up to 3 separate cloud accounts. I tracked their patterns. Thursday afternoons, Lauren's apartment. Saturday mornings while I was supposedly at yoga, Sophie's place. Tuesday evenings, sometimes both of them, at a hotel downtown. They thought they were so careful. So clever. They had no idea I'd been trained to track data, to analyze patterns, to identify variables and predict outcomes. And then I started the next phase of my plan. I've always been health conscious. I take vitamins, supplements, probiotics. Daniel used to tease me about my pharmacy cabinet in the bathroom. About a year ago, I'd started taking this organic supplement, a proprietary blend of herbs and compounds designed to support metabolic health. It came in capsules. I took 2 every morning. Daniel had started taking them too, about 6 months ago. If you're taking them, they must be good, he'd said. What he didn't know, what nobody knew, is that I'd started ordering the empty capsules online. The same size, the same color, the exact same brand of gelatin caps. And I'd started filling them myself. The compound I used was something I'd learned about in my pharmaceutical work. It's not illegal. It's not even particularly dangerous on its own. It's actually used in some medical treatments in controlled doses. But it has one very specific property. When combined with alcohol, it causes a severe reaction. Nausea, vomiting, racing heartbeat, dizziness, anxiety, difficulty breathing. The more alcohol consumed, the worse the reaction. On its own, harmless. With alcohol, chaotic. I'd been replacing Daniel's supplements gradually over the past 2 weeks. Not every capsule, just enough. Mixing in my specially prepared ones with the real ones, so he wouldn't notice anything different. He'd been taking them every morning, like clockwork. 2 capsules with breakfast. And I knew, because I tracked their patterns, that Thursday nights were when the 3 of them usually met up at Lauren's place. And Thursday nights always involved drinking. A lot of drinking. I'd seen the photos in their group chat. Bottles of wine. Craft cocktails. Fancy bourbon. The compound would have built up in Daniel's system over 2 weeks. And tonight, when he drank, it would all come together. But I couldn't just target Daniel. That would be too obvious. Too suspicious. So I'd gotten creative. 3 weeks ago, I'd hosted a small dinner party. Daniel, Lauren, Sophie, and 2 other friends. I'd made individual gift bags for everyone. Wellness kits with face masks, lip balm, and a bottle of the same organic supplements I took. I buy these in bulk, I'd explained. They're amazing. You should all try them. Lauren and Sophie had both thanked me. Both taken their bottles home. I'd watched them over the following weeks, mentioning casually how I never missed my morning supplements, how important routine was. Both of them, trying to impress me, had started taking them too. They'd even posted about it on Instagram. Lauren's photo of her morning routine, supplements visible. Sophie's story about self-care Sunday, with the bottle in the background. They've been taking them every day for 3 weeks, building up the compound in their systems. Just like Daniel. Thursday afternoon, Daniel texted me, meeting up with Lauren and Sophie tonight. Probably staying out late. Don't wait up. I texted back, have fun. Love you. He responded with a heart emoji. I sat on the couch, and I waited. Around 11 p.m., my phone rang. Unknown number. Hello. Is this Caroline Mitchell? This is Northwestern Memorial Hospital. Your husband, Daniel Mitchell, has been brought to the emergency room. We need you to come in immediately. My heart rate didn't even spike. I'd been expecting this. What happened? I asked, injecting just the right amount of concern into my voice. He came in with severe symptoms, vomiting, tachycardia, difficulty breathing. We're running tests now. How quickly can you get here? I'm on my way. I drove to the hospital carefully, following all traffic laws. I parked in the emergency lot. I walked through the sliding doors into the bright, sterile waiting room. A nurse directed me to a curtained area in the ER. Daniel was there, lying on a bed, and four in his arm, looking pale and miserable. "Caroline," he croaked when he saw me. "What happened?" I asked, coming to his bedside. "I don't know. We were at Lauren's having drinks, and suddenly, I felt awful. Like I was dying. Lauren and Sophie, they got sick too. They're here somewhere." "They're here?" He nodded weakly. "Different rooms. We all got sick at the same time. The doctors think maybe food poisoning or—" A doctor pulled back the curtain. She was maybe 40, with tired eyes and an efficient manner. "Mrs. Mitchell? I'm Dr. Patel. Can I speak with you privately?" "Of course." She led me to a small consultation room, gestured for me to sit. "Your husband, along with two other patients who came in with him, Lauren Wright and Sophie Chen, are all presenting with the same symptoms. Severe reaction to a compound that, when mixed with alcohol, becomes toxic." "What compound?" I asked. "That's what I need to ask you. Your husband says he takes several supplements daily. Can you tell me exactly what he's been taking?" I pulled out my phone, showed her a photo of the supplement bottle. The real one, not the ones I doctored. "Just this," I said. "An organic metabolic support supplement. I take them too. So do Lauren and Sophie. Actually, I gave them bottles a few weeks ago." Dr. Patel frowned. "This supplement alone wouldn't cause this reaction. There must be something else. Has your husband been taking any other medications? Anything prescribed or over-the-counter?" "Not that I know of," I said. "But doctor, can I ask you something?" "Of course." "Is it possible that someone could have added something to those supplements? Like if the capsules were opened and refilled with something else?" Her eyes sharpened. "Why would you ask that? I want to understand what's happening. If someone had access to pharmaceutical compounds, could they theoretically replace the contents of supplement capsules with something that would cause this kind of reaction when combined with alcohol?" "Theoretically, yes. But that would require specific knowledge and access. And it would be—" She paused. "It would be deliberate." "I see," I said quietly. "Doctor, there's something I need to tell you." I pulled out my phone, opened the cloud storage where I'd saved everything. 3 weeks ago, I discovered my husband was having affairs with both Lauren Wright and Sophie Chen. They've been meeting regularly for months. Here. I showed her the screenshots of their group chat, the messages, the photos, the detailed plans. Dr. Patel's expression shifted from professional concern to something harder. I didn't confront them. I continued. I wanted to understand the full scope of what was happening. So, I documented everything. Dates, times, locations. I have weeks of evidence. "Mrs. Mitchell, why are you telling me this?" "Because I think someone should know the truth about what's going on here. About who these people really are." "Are you saying you had something to do with their condition?" I looked her directly in the eyes. "I'm saying that if someone had replaced the contents of those supplement capsules with a compound designed to react badly with alcohol, and if that person had carefully documented evidence of why they might want to harm these 3 specific people, that would be premeditated poisoning. That would be attempted murder." "Yes, it would." "And I would never do something like that," I said calmly, "because I'm not a murderer. I'm just a pharmaceutical sales rep who understands compounds and interactions. Who knows that some substances, while harmless individually, become dangerous when combined." Dr. Patel studied me for a long moment. "I'm going to have to report this conversation," she said finally. "Of course," I agreed. "You should do your job. Just like I've done mine, documenting everything, keeping records, making sure the truth is available when it needs to be." "Mrs. Mitchell, Caroline, did you poison your husband and your friends?" "I gave them supplements," I said. "The same supplements I take every day. Whether someone tampered with those supplements after I gave them out, I couldn't say. But I do know that all 3 of them will recover fully. The compound, whatever it is, isn't fatal. It's just extremely unpleasant when combined with alcohol. Almost like a severe allergic reaction. The human body will metabolize it, and they'll be fine in a few days." But you're saying someone deliberately caused this. I'm saying 3 people who betrayed me all ended up in the ER on the same night, presenting with identical symptoms. I'm saying that's a remarkable coincidence. And I'm saying that I have extensive documentation of their betrayal, should anyone need to understand motive. Dr. Patel stood up. I need to inform the police. I understand, I said. Should I wait here? Please. She left. I sat in that small consultation room, and I waited. 40 minutes later, 2 police officers arrived. They asked me questions. I answered honestly. Yes, I discovered my husband's affairs. Yes, I documented everything. Yes, I'd given all 3 of them supplements. No, I hadn't tampered with the supplements. No, I didn't know how they could have been contaminated. Yes, I understood that was suspicious. They took my statement. They took my phone. I let them because I'd already backed up everything I needed. They told me not to leave town. I went home around 3 a.m. The house was empty. I sat in the kitchen where I'd sat 3 weeks ago, and I felt nothing but a cold, clear sense of completion. The next morning, my lawyer called. I'd retained him 2 weeks ago, quietly, paying in cash. Caroline, the police are investigating. You're going to be a suspect. Are you sure you want to proceed with this? I'm sure, I said. File the divorce papers. Today. They might charge you. They won't, I said confidently. They have no evidence. The supplements I gave them were legitimate. I can prove purchase and authenticity. If someone replaced the contents, they'll have to prove I did it. And they can't because I was very, very careful. You're playing a dangerous game. I'm not playing, I said. I'm finishing. The divorce papers were filed that afternoon. By evening, it was public record. Daniel called me from the hospital. What the fuck, Caroline? Divorce papers?
Now.
You told me if I couldn't handle your affairs, I should leave, I said calmly. So I'm leaving. I'm done. You poisoned us, he screamed. You fucking poisoned us. I have no idea what you're talking about, I said. But I do have evidence of your 6-month affair with Lauren and your 4-month affair with Sophie, which I'm sure will be very interesting to your employer and your family and everyone we know. You can't. I already have, I said. I sent the documentation to your HR department this morning. Apparently, there are policies about sleeping with subordinates. Didn't realize Sophie technically reports to you through that cross-departmental project. That's unfortunate.
He was silent.
I also sent it to Lauren's fiancé. I continued. Didn't know she was engaged, did you? Apparently, she's been planning a wedding for next spring. Was planning anyway. He called off the engagement about 2 hours ago. You're insane. And I sent it to Sophie's parents. I finished. They're very traditional, very Catholic. They're not taking it well, from what I understand. Why are you doing this? Because you smiled at me, I said. When I found out, when you knew I was devastated, you smiled and told me to deal with it or leave. You made me feel like I was the problem, like I was unreasonable for being hurt. So you poison us?
I didn't poison anyone, I said.
But if someone had decided to teach you all a lesson about consequences, I think they would have made sure you suffered just enough to understand what you did. Just enough to feel violated and helpless and betrayed. Just enough to know what it feels like when someone you trust destroys you. The police are going to arrest you. Maybe, I said. Or maybe they'll investigate and find that while the timing is suspicious, there's no actual evidence connecting me to anything. Maybe they'll determine that the supplements could have been tampered with at any point, during manufacturing, during shipping, while sitting on your bathroom counter. Maybe they'll conclude that while I certainly had motive, having motive isn't the same as having proof. I'll tell everyone you did this.
Go ahead, I said.
I'll tell everyone about your affairs. About the group chat where you all laughed about how stupid I was. About how you gaslit me and manipulated me and fucked my best friends in our bed. Let's see whose story people believe, the cheating husband or the betrayed wife. I hung up. The police investigation continued for 3 weeks. They tested the supplements, found traces of the compound, tried to determine when and how it had been added. They couldn't prove anything. The capsules could have been tampered with at any point. I had receipts showing legitimate purchases. My fingerprints were on the bottles, but of course they were. I'd given them as gifts. They searched my home, my car, my office. Found nothing. No raw materials. No equipment. No evidence of manufacturing or processing. Because I'd been very, very careful about disposal. The district attorney declined to prosecute. Insufficient evidence. Circumstantial at best. Daniel, Lauren, and Sophie all recovered within a week. Physically, anyway. Socially, they were destroyed. Daniel lost his job. The company cited inappropriate workplace relationships and terminated him for cause. No severance. Lauren's ex-fiancé posted about the affair on social media. Her reputation in our social circle evaporated overnight. People she'd known for years blocked her. Sophie's parents disowned her. Her younger sister uninvited her from her wedding. The shame in her traditional community was devastating. The three of them tried to salvage something. They actually attempted to stay together, to make their relationship official. But the foundation was built on betrayal and secrecy, and without those elements, they fell apart within a month. Daniel tried to fight the divorce. I had evidence. He withdrew his objections. The settlement was favorable to me. I kept the house. Most of our assets. He didn't have the energy to fight. I saw Lauren once more, about 2 months after everything happened. She cornered me at the grocery store. "I know you did it," she hissed. "I know you poisoned us." "Prove it," I said calmly. "You're a psychopath. And you're a woman who fucked her best friend's husband for 6 months while pretending to be her friend. We all have our flaws. I hope you rot in hell." "I'll save you a seat," I said and walked away. I haven't seen or spoken to any of them since. 6 months have passed now. I sold the house. Couldn't stand to live there anymore, despite winning it in the divorce. Took a job transfer to Denver. Started fresh in a new city where nobody knows my history. I go to therapy now. Not because I feel guilty, I don't. But because I needed to process the betrayal, the anger, the cold calculation that went into my response. My therapist asked me once if I regretted what I did. "Which part?" I asked. "Gathering evidence? Filing for divorce? Exposing their affairs?" "You know which part," she said carefully. I thought about it for a long time. "No," I said finally. "I don't regret giving them exactly what they deserved. They violated me. They laughed about it. They made me feel worthless. And they never once considered consequences because they thought I was too weak, too trusting, too nice to fight back. And now they know better. Now everyone knows that betrayal has a price. That you can't treat people like they're disposable and expect to walk away unscathed. Even if what you did was hypothetically did," I corrected, since it was never proven. "Even if what you hypothetically did was illegal, dangerous, potentially deadly." "It wasn't deadly," I said. "I made sure of that. If someone had done what you're suggesting, they would have researched extensively. They would have calculated dosages precisely. They would have ensured that the outcome was temporary discomfort, not permanent harm. They would have been methodical, precise, scientific." "That sounds premeditated." "It sounds careful," I said. "And carefulness is not the same as cruelty. Cruelty is what they did, betraying someone who trusted them, laughing about it, telling that person they were the problem for being hurt." My therapist didn't have a response to that. "I'm dating someone now. Someone kind and honest, who doesn't know about my past. We're taking it slow. I'm learning to trust again, but I'm also learning that trust needs to be earned, not given freely. I'm different now. Harder. More careful. More aware of the gap between what people say and what they do. But I'm not broken. I'm not destroyed. I'm not the victim they tried to make me. I'm the woman who fought back, who refused to be diminished, who made sure that betrayal had consequences. And honestly, I sleep just fine at night. Last week, I got a message from an unknown number. Just 2 words. I know. I deleted it. Didn't respond. Because even if someone knows, even if someone suspects, knowing isn't the same as proving. And I was always very, very good at covering my tracks. People ask me sometimes if I'm afraid. If I worry that karma will catch up with me. That what I did, or allegedly did, will come back to haunt me. But here's what I've learned. Karma is just another word for consequences. And I made sure the right people faced the right consequences at the right time.